Happy 2021, everybody, and thank you for joining me for this new video, the first one of 2021, and is it gonna be a good one? I'm a little stiff. I've been bedridden from some nerve pain for the past week, but I'm on the mend and it's time to start crushing some content again. This is going to be one of the coolest tricks for mastering, hopefully, that you've ever seen. It's one thing this is a trick for mastering, for getting really loud masters that has made an enormous impact on how loud I can get something while keeping it ultra transparent and artifact free. So let's get into it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but Colt, loudness doesn't matter. You're just ruining music by crushing it so hard and making it so loud. One of my favorite people, Dave Pensato, said once that the loudness wars are over and loudness won. And I promise you, as much as I would rather not have to make stuff ultra loud, it's still part of the day-to-day workflow. And if you are trying to work on top 40 commercially successful music, it has to be loud, because when it's not, people are going to complain. My clients would complain, labels and management would complain. It has to be loud after the release. So this is one technique, one single trick that has allowed me to make my masters louder without imparting any negative side effects into it. But before we get into Pro Tools and I show you exactly what this is, I just want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, Sweetwater. Thank you, Sweetwater, so much for sponsoring this video. You can buy all of your music gear from Sweetwater. I have for many, many years now. There'll be links in the description below for every single plugin, everything that we go over in this video. And there's also links in the description to go over all the gear that I use, my recommended mastering plugins, all kinds of stuff. And if you use those links in the description, I get just a tiny bit of a commission, and it really helps the channel out. It really helps me. It really allows me to make more content like this to help you guys out. So get down there, check those links out, hit Sweetwater up for any musical gear that you might ever need. That's it. Let's jump into Pro Tools and check this out. So this is something that I've only recently been doing, and it's really made a big difference on how loud I can get something without imparting any negative artifacts, any distortions or anything like that. Now this song is a song that I produced, recorded, mixed by Garrett Biggs. It's called Never Have I Ever. I'll put links to all of his socials and everything in the description below. Make sure you go check him out if you like the song at all. As thanks for him letting me, use a song like this in this video. Thank you, Garrett, so much. The song is not out yet, should be out very soon, but make sure you go follow him if you like this kind of stuff. This technique applies to literally any type of music. I've been doing this on pop stuff, on rock stuff, on metal stuff, on country rock stuff. This technique will apply to every single genre that I work on anyway, and I hope that this helps you. So the technique is just this. We're going to take our first limiter here. Make sure you use headphones or like high-end monitors or something to listen to this. So here is the song on its own. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add this limiter, this first limiter, and I've already got this set up, so I'm not going to tweak these settings in real time for you. But basically what I want this first limiter to do, I've got it set to 16 times oversampled, and then some specific settings here. But basically what I want is this first limiter. The trick is that we're using two limiters. Let's get there. Two limiters, and the idea is we're sharing the load in the same way that in my vocal compression video I was talking about using multiple compressors to share the load. We're doing the same thing for mastering here. It's the exact same concept. So this first limiter, what we want is for it to just cut the peaks of the drums. Whatever the hottest peaks are, we just want to cut them down, just knock them down a little bit, so that way the next limiter doesn't have to deal with peaks in addition to the rest of the information. So here's what that looks like, just the first limiter. Well, never have I ever drove by your house to see whose truck's in my spot now. Never have I ever. Now you can see that we're pretty much only listening, or it's only compressing, it's only limiting just the peaks, just the kick and the snare and the toms, and pretty much nothing else. Well, never have I ever drove by your house. So then what we're going to do is then we're going to add the second limiter after it. And what we're going to do is we're just slightly different settings, and you should tweak settings of these limiters based on your music and what you're trying to accomplish. The trick that we're looking at here is just sharing the load between two limiters. So here we go. Let's listen to this.
Well, never have I ever drove by your house to see whose truck's in my spot now. Never have I ever woke up in a cold sweat.
So you can see how this is handling not just kicks and percussion and stuff. This is really kind of getting all of the material all handled all at the same time.
Well, never have I ever drove by your house to see whose truck's in my spot now. Never have I ever.
Now, if I was trying to achieve this exact volume with only one limiter, you would hear a lot more artifacts. There'd be some more distortion, there'd be some more pumping. It would definitely be less transparent than it is now. Now, over on my Patreon, I actually just uploaded a full breakdown of this master where I go over every single detail of what I did in the master, exactly why I made each choice, every EQ plugin, saturation plugin, every single thing that I did in this master. And you can go check it out over on my Patreon, link in the description to hit the Patreon up. We do all sorts of awesome mix breakdowns, full breakdowns of popular songs, big full songs that I've mixed. We do music business advice, live Q&As. There's awesome merch, stickers, hoodies, t-shirts, all kinds of stuff over on the Patreon. Check the Patreon link in the description, and I hope to see you over there on Patreon. Now, the one thing that I would say is make sure that you play around with the settings on your limiter for every song. This technique, this two limiter technique, works on every song, on every genre, no matter what. But I would use slightly different settings on the limiter itself based on the kind of music that I'm working on. And so keep that in mind when you're experimenting with this. And then also keep in mind that you might have seen a particular level on those on that limiter that I was shooting for, but you can't just go by the number. The number only works if the song is very, very similar. So for that style of song, for that dense of a mix, that number that I was hitting on the limiter worked really good. But if you had like a piano vocal thing and you crushed it to -7 dB LUFS, that would be so enormously loud. So don't just go by the numbers, you have to use your ears, and we go over a lot of stuff like that on the Patreon. So I hope this helped you, hope this trick allowed you to better compete in this marketplace we're in, where loud masters are still a thing. Thanks guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.